There's some vintage Pokemon cards that have graded card values that don't really match with the ungraded values. This mostly applies to the highest graded Gem Mint 10s. A PSA 10 Dark Magneton being worth twice as much as a similarly graded Dark Charizard seems quite strange. It gets stranger when you factor in that the Charizard is a 6 times more expensive card as a 9. If you dig a bit deeper, you'll find that some vintage cards get graded as 10s much less frequently than others. Out of all the Dark Magneton cards that get graded at PSA, only 1.7% get the highest Gem Mint 10 grade. So its gem rate is 1.7%. For the Dark Charizard, this gem rate is 6.7%. So the rarity and difficulty to have a certain card get graded as a 10 explains why the prices for 10s are the way they are. But what makes a card have a low gem rate? What makes it hard to grade? In this video, I'll be going through 6 reasons. If you liked the video, please remember to like, subscribe, comment. Those things really go a long way with the YouTube algorithm so more people see my videos. And that in turn helps me keep up my motivation to make more videos. But let's get to the topic at hand. Reason number 1, quality issues in production. So this is pretty universal for all original series vintage cards, but some of the cards are more prone to these defects in production than others. Wizards of the Coast, who made the Pokemon cards at the time, didn't really do a good job with the average card quality, and so most are not Gem Mint 10 worthy even straight out of a pack. Looking at the total gem rates for all the original series sets, it seems that Gem Challenge is the one that had fewer quality issues than the rest. Then to reason number 2, bright hollow background. If a holofoil card has a bright background, it's going to be much easier to see the damage on the card compared to one with a dark background. So a base set Zapdos is much easier to get graded as a PSA 10 than a base set Chansey, which also shows in their gem rates. Reason number 3, holographic surface area. The holographic area of a card is the easiest part to get damage on. So it makes sense that if there's a lot of this area, it's much easier to damage the card. These are also the cards that are much more prone to damage in production. Print lines on the hollow surface of a Dark Magneton card are a lot more likely than they are in a Dark Charizard. So that's why a card like Dark Magneton or Erika's Venusaur have a much lower gem rate than a Dark Charizard or Blanche Charizard. Reason number 4, the card is worth grading even without a chance of it being a PSA 10. Now this reason doesn't really have to do with how hard a card is to grade, but it does have an effect on the gem rate of a card. The most obvious example being the base set Charizard, which has high numbers of cards graded at each grade from 1 to 9. Especially the shadowless and first edition cards might be worth grading just for proof of authenticity, and that obviously will bring down the gem rate, even though the card might not be any harder to grade than others. Combining these first 4 reasons, you start to understand why a card like Giovanni's Machamp has a gem rate as high as 27%. It's from Gem Challenge, which had the highest total gem rate out of any sets in the original series. The hollow background is not very bright, but even more importantly, there's very little hollow surface area. It's also not the most valuable card, so it's unlikely that these cards get graded without a chance at being a 10. Then to reason number 5, when was the card worth grading? So at what point was grading a card worth the grading costs? For an example, let's look at the Holo Kangaskhan from Jungle. Looking back to 2017, we see that the first edition PSA 10 was already selling for over $600, whereas the unlimited version was selling for only about $100. So there was much more incentive to grade the first edition card earlier on. And with time, cards always have a chance to get damaged. So it's more and more unlikely that cards are PSA 10 worthy the more time goes on. It's also said that PSA is a lot more strict nowadays than they were, let's say 10 years ago, but I have no first-hand experience of that, so I can't be sure if that's true. Finally, reason number 6. Did the card have perceived collecting value when it was released? A kid or even a grown-up collector is gonna take much better care of a card that has value to them, be it monetary value or sentimental value, whatever. If it has value to them, they're probably gonna take better care of it. So on average, kids like myself took better care of Charizards than they took of Chanseys or Magnetons. A card being first edition probably also on average seemed more special than the unlimited ones, so combining this with the previous point is probably why first edition cards have higher gem rates than their unlimited counterparts. So these are some of the most obvious reasons why some cards have lower gem rates than others. For more vintage card videos and some investing videos there on the side, subscribe to my channel. Hope to see you again. Bye.